Your favorite Muhammad Ali moment, personal moment with him.
Well, I saw, I met Ali right at the very beginning, long before he won the title. He was in here uh, at the Garden, right, early career, fighting not Bob Jones, what was his name?
Doug Jones.
Doug
Jones.
fighting
Tough.
Doug,
1962.
Tough
right?
fight.
62?
fighting Doug Jones, pretty forgotten now, but was really a contender. Was not an easy opponent, and I I heard that Ali was appearing with some poets at the bottom line was that the sort of a long hair hangout, reading his poetry along with serious poets, and so I went down to catch that, and he was really very entertaining. He stood right with these poets and held forth and read his own rhyming verse as if it was serious poetry, and he was just awfully engaging, really awfully engaging. I, in all the years of following boxers, I'd never seen one with his personality, both the humor, he had enormous humor. He was really funny, and at the same time, as we know, had a really serious side to him.
Well, and I noticed with the way he trained, definitely he had that. He was very serious in the ring, you know.
Oh,
Of course,
yes, he was. Yes,
training,
yes.
and had to have that humor and
Yes,
be
yes.
able to flip like a light switch, flip it on and off.
Yes, he did exactly. Exactly. Yes. He was really he was really funny.
Wow.
I remember one time, and he was holding a press conference. I forget which fight it was. It was in the Garden, I think, press conference, and a Polish boxing writer made this long speech saying how the people in Poland admired him so much and so forth, and that they wanted to give him some gift, some typically Polish gift. And it was sort of like an animal doll. It was a silly little thing. And he said, anyway, we want you to have this. Ali took it, he looked at it, he turned it upside down, and he said, made in Japan. Made in Japan, he said. I mean, he was constantly putting people on
the spot.
On the spot. And constantly playing with their minds. And he really was.
You were at two of the greatest fights of all time.
Yeah.
Lewis and Khan won.
Yes, it was.
Great fight.
And Ali Foreman rumbled
Fight.
in the jungle.
It really was.
You know, like
That was amazing. It was an amazing fight. Amazing Victorian time. That
with Lewis and Khan, right?
and
yeah. And Ali, right.
I felt really sorry for Foreman. I remember that Ali made Foreman to be really. He turned Foreman white. He really did.
Yeah, he really shook him up.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And poor George was really chopped up in little pieces by Ali there. Ali was too smart for him.
Wow. I know, like with those two, like Ali and Lewis, like of course debate on who's the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yes.
Joe Lewis, Muhammad Ali. Right?
Yes,
Back and forth.
that's right.
Mike Tyson was part of that
Yes.
equation.
Yes, he was.
For a short time, and now we
Yes, he
all know
was.
he's-
I think he's falling off.
Hey,
a bit.
yeah, falling off definitely.
Poor Mike,
Poor
you know,
Mike.
Poor Mike really fell apart. He really did.
He always debated though. Ali. I mean, everybody. You know, with Bert.
Yes. they'll always.
Everybody.
Lewis and Ali,
Yeah, I
right,
mean,
right. Like who?
growing up, I mean, Lewis was always my hero, my boxing hero. You know, so you pick a guy, and I feel like you kind of get defensive of that person who you pick, and it becomes more, you know, a bit subjective. I mean, my father was there to see Lewis fight.
Yes,
And I only saw him on tape, but
I saw him fight Billy Conn. I saw him many times.
Wow, 25 straight defenses, right? 25 straight defenses.
Yep.
That has
That's
been
right.
phenomenal.
25. Yeah.
That's
Amazing.
he can knock you out from 6 inches.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
Either.
key is, would he have ever caught Ali?
I went. Yeah.
You know, and Ali was a lot bigger.
How was his hand speed? Joe Lewis's hand speed. Like
Hand speed was very fast. His he was slow on his feet. He moved slowly but surely, like he
Shuffle.
shuffled at you, but kept at you wherever you went. He followed, you know. But his hands were awfully fast. I wonder what would have happened with an Ali if he would catch Ali.
Yeah, like that's the one thing. Because great thing about combinations, like he catch you with one, and then you're stuck, and
That's
then
right.
you're like, and he'll come. Well, and also Louis Schmeling, you know that fight. You know, like both of the fights you were at, and like the impact, like talk about like how their friendship, how they became friends, like talk about like, how great that was.
That was really interesting. That Schmeling, Max Schmeling, who, because he came from Hitler Germany and was still living under Hitler's regime. There were people who attacked Max as being pro-Nazi.
Right.
But he really wasn't. He was actually pretty much of a Democrat, even though he did live there, and he had to, in a way, save face at times. But in spite of that, he behaved really very well and remained friends with Lewis. And it is true that later on, when after the careers were over, when poor Joe went down in a kind of a downward spiral economically, whereas Max got involved became the head of Coca-Cola in Germany, and as a result, became a very wealthy man. At that point, there were several times when Max actually loaned and basically gave money to Lewis, and they remained friends. When Schmeling came over for a visit years later, he said the first thing he wanted to do was to visit with Joe Lewis, and they did they had a friendly meeting, and they stayed friends with. Max was a much better person than sometimes he was given credit for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he only died a couple
Guy,
years
I
ago.
know he was almost he was just days, I think, away from
100 years old.
from 100. Yeah, and lived very well. He was quite. We met someone
that German.
That
the only guy who he wouldn't let anybody into his life. This one German who became his friend, and they would visit like once a week.
Yes.
He was very private. When they were doing the movie, Dad and Spike Lee were
Yes.
I guess still working on the movie about Joe Lewis, and they wanted to go interview Schmeling, and he said he wouldn't let him. He wouldn't, he didn't want anybody.
Too late.
Too late, yeah. So.
Yeah, it was too bad.
But I remember that he had a lot of stories, and he said his memory was still sharp.
Yeah.
talked about how much he cared for Lewis.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And,
Wow. Well, and I have
so.
to say, and you're close to that central mark yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely, you're almost
Yes,
there.
true. Yes.